Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a while, but we are back for another episode of In Between the Sticks with your host here, Kale, along with co host Drew and Austin. Um, it's been a while, first off, so we do want to hit a couple of quick hitter positive notes because there's not very many of them for the Tennessee Titans. So I think, we were talking a little bit right before we started, and honestly, there's not many. So we're looking at probably Jarvis Brownlee, to Andre Sweat. I'm not even going to throw Simmons in there personally because he started off rough, and I mean, yeah, he's been playing okay the last few weeks. It's not up to the standard that we signed him, in my opinion. But has been a little bit better recently. But let's see who we mentioned. Kenneth Murray has been okay.
Amani Hooker,
pretty solid.
sure.
Amani Hooker's probably the most sound defender like on our team. Like
he's the one that I expected to be decent coming into the year.
Aside from maybe Simmons, but I don't know. Simmons, it's hard to get everything going when you kind of get on a losing streak and on a losing rampage, if you will, that we've been on. We're sitting here. What are we? Is it 3-11?
Mm-hmm.
3-11 with 3 games left, and I can't say I don't care about the last 3 games.
And we didn't move up the draft order at all.
No, we didn't. Nothing. And these other teams keep losing too. So, it's a weird spot. So I mean, those are the high points for me.
Right now. For sure. And you kind of look at it this way too. Like we suck here at 3-11, but we don't suck as bad as, 2-12, like these other teams are. Giants and the Raiders.
As crazy as that sounds, like it's true though. Like I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, well, if you flip every one possession game over, we're a playoff team. It's like, okay, yeah, that's true. But bad teams continuously win or lose one possession games. The NFL's meant to be a one possession league. That's just how it is. So if you can't get the pieces and everything you need to flip that over and start winning, like everybody talks about the Chiefs not being that great. They're 13-1. I don't care how many games they've played that are close. They're winning. And they find ways to win, and that's what good teams do. And we're not a good team right now.
They do this every year too. The Chiefs are the kings, at least the last like year and a half, 2 years. They lose a couple games they shouldn't lose in the regular season. They barely squeeze by teams. They're one possession wins, but then they get to the playoffs and it's just a whole other team. That the experience, the leadership, the just overall pure talent that they have on their roster takes over once the playoff sits. And that's the difference between them and everyone else. But for us as the Titans, I mean, the difference between us and some of these other teams is we do have quite a bit of bright spots. Like Tony Pollard, one of the best free agency picks up.
I don't even know how in the world we forgot about him. He is definitely the most positive of the season.
Yeah, like Tony Pollard looks like an absolute monster every game. Every game he looks great. Rookie J.C. Latham, had some struggles here and there, but for a rookie left tackle, looks solid. Skoronski looks like he's progressing better and better as the years go by.
He's had a phenomenal year, honestly. Like people want to sit here and point out his bad plays, but he has played more like a guard than he's ever had in his life. And I mean, dude, he's pancaking people most of the time.
Yeah. He looks like a first-round pick. Like, I mean, we've been a first-round honor. He should be playing like one. He's starting to look like one. And then Sweat. Basically, every draft pick except Cedric Gray up to this point and Jaquan Jackson has looked good for the most part. So Rand, did a great job of evaluating and drafting talent this year. But we're just missing in a few key areas, but they're massive key areas like quarterback and extra wide receivers and edge. Our edge rushers are terrible. Oh.
Yeah, that's a great segue into, what's going to be most of our episode, and that's not positive. I mean, this is a bad team. We've talked about it. We've said it over and over already in the first 5 minutes of this podcast. It's a bad football team, and it starts with the quarterback. It just does. And you can't, man, like I know Mason Rudolph the other day was just dinking and dumping most of the stuff, and they were kind of just playing laid back prevent, like, we'll give them some yards, just let them chew some clock up. Like they were killing us, like we weren't going to win the game, and he still just looked a lot better. He looks decisive. He allows his playmakers like Tajay and other people to just make plays instead of feeling like he has to force something. And it's just crazy because it's like I don't think Rudolph is really that good. he just
No.
looks so much better because of his efficiency and decision making. Now the interception was bad; he just missed the throw, but it's like that's going to happen. Will Levis is just consistently making bad, awful decisions. And it just continues. So yeah, you can't have 2 or 3 pretty solid games and then we all forget about it.
Yeah.
When you go back, like you just can't. And we're in a position now where it's going to be the topic of conversation for the next few weeks, especially as we're sitting in that like 6 to 8 range, because you're probably not getting a QB right there.
Nothing.
No, you're
Nothing.
not.
Not a
So,
QB.
I mean, you dang well might as well be trading out if you're in that spot. So maybe pick up a later first round.
No,
But
I don't think you trade out. I don't think you trade out. I think that at that position, I mean, you go either you fix that right tackle
Best
spot,
available, bro.
You either fix that right tackle spot or you go get McMillan or somebody at wide receiver that's going to come in and make plays immediately. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Kelvin Banks out of Texas. I don't care if it's Will Campbell out of LSU. I don't care if it's freaking McMillan out of Arizona. I don't care who it is. One of those 3 is a must-have. I know people want Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State. I do think he's really good, but our defense isn't the problem. Our defense has at least like kept us in games. Although our edge rushers suck, Arden Key blows. Harold Landry is a coverage sack warrior. If Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat aren't pushing the quarterback outside the pocket, he's non-existent on the field. If they're not doing that, he's non-existent. So we need an edge rusher. But good Lord for everything holy, if I have to watch NPF or Jalen Duncan or Leroy Watson or one of these bums play right tackle another snap for the Tennessee
Well, here you
Titans,
go. You want to know what's funny, brother? You won't have to. You won't have to because we released Leroy Watson the other day.
Thank goodness.
You won't have to watch that.
Thank goodness. Too long on the team.
I mean, I legitimately think we could put Jelly Roll out there and he'd have more passion and he'd probably be better than what we put on the field this year.
Dude,
I mean,
literally,
it's just bad.
Literally, Nick Van Ette. Put him in number 64 and just put him over there at right tackle. He can't be worse. He can't be worse. He really can't.
Oh, and I will say, let me bring up one more quick thing because I do think Chig has stepped up a little bit these last few weeks. Like finally, like I know a little bit of that is probably offense, a little bit of that like scheme, a little bit of that is probably Levis not always looking for him, but he's consistently been, I think, in the right spot. And when he has gotten the ball, he seems like he's making plays. So that's good. I don't know what that means for his future still because I just don't know. But he has the talent. We know that.
I feel so bad for him this year, like genuinely, because dude, I don't know what has been until like the past couple weeks. It's like when we're going in game planning or Callahan's looking at his play sheet, it has to be on there on these early downs. Don't target tight ends, right? Because I mean, oh my God, like literally, I don't even know what game it was. Whenever Chig got that 70-yard catch and when he came across the middle, and literally I texted in the game. I said, my prayer's been answered.
That was the Texans game.
Yeah, I was like, dude, we're throwing to our tight ends. I was like, what? Like, I don't understand. You look at every other offense, your checkdowns are your tight ends, and we just don't even throw to them at all, unless it's a Chig screen that goes nowhere.
I don't think that's on Callahan.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not blaming it all on Callahan, but I'm just saying, like, even as a quarterback, as Will, I mean, bro, you've got it. Because here's the thing: we have Calvin Ridley. Every other team knows we have Calvin Ridley, right? That is when they're in their team meetings. Hey guys, who's one guy we need to stop this week in the passing game?
Yep,
Tony Pollard, or not Tony? Excuse me,
well,
Calvin.
You got to stop him. You got to stop him.
I was thinking about the guys you got to stop, but Calvin Ridley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, pressure him, safety over the top, essentially double teaming him.
Yep.
And he has to beat you with his speed. Everybody knows that. Okay, who's number 2?
Nobody.
That's a great question because I don't know either.
Not a soul.
Right? I mean, what, Tyler Boyd? We just started throwing to him a couple weeks ago. All of a sudden we found, oh my God, we have Tyler Boyd on the team. Like what are we doing?
Well, and based on the film that we've seen from people like Tic Tac Titans and stuff like that, like at least I'm in a spot where I can say I'm not blaming Callahan for this.
No, he is a great. He's schemed up great plays.
And
people
I'm not
are open.
say he's a good coach or a great coach yet because he needs more experience than that. I don't think it's time to fire him. I know a lot of people are going to be calling for that, but also people are calling for Rand too. And like
crazy,
I get it, but like
crazy. I don't get it.
Well, I'm just saying I get it in terms of people when we lose, they want people fired. no matter if it makes sense or not. And to me, it doesn't make sense for either of them to be fired right now.
Okay. Well, here, let me
So-
bring you this too, Kel, because I see a lot of talk of, oh, you fired a great coach in the offseason, right?
What's that great coach doing right now? How come
Bring
he's not head coaching?
bring back Mike Vrabel is what I've been seeing. There's people at the game wearing, grocery sack bags that say,
I saw it.
bring back Vrabel and sell the team and that kind of stuff. Are we forgetting that Mike Vrabel was the same coach a couple years ago, right? Just a couple of years ago, that all he had to do was win one game out of the last 8 games of the season to clinch the division, and he lost 7 straight. And we lost, and we got out of the playoffs. He lost 7 games in a row. 7 games in a row. And all he had to do was win
Here's another
one.
thing. I know that he didn't have jurisdiction over John Robinson, but Mike Vrabel had solid control of this roster. So
100%.
why in the heck? I need this story. Why in the heck? I will die on this hill. Did we get rid of our best player?
No,
Not
that
just
one,
our
no,
best player.
no.
Like
That's,
top 5 player in the league.
Here we go.
at
Let's
wide
break
And
receiver.
this
he's
down.
still great.
let's break
he's
this
still
down, right?
amazing.
No, let's break this down. This has come out. Like, this is fact.
You're not going to
That-
convince me that wasn't stupid.
No,
Nah,
for sure it was stupid.
It was stupid.
But here's the moral of the story. AJ obviously wants a contract extension, right? He was seeking, what was it, 22 something a year?
Like
Right?
he was willing to take a
It was
major
20.
pay cut.
Yeah, I mean, it was 20 to 22 mil a year is what he wanted, right? Comes out, Amy Adams Strunk, owner of the Titans, tells John Robinson, current GM, you know
Pay
what?
him.
Pay him. Whether it's incentives or whatever it is, pay him. We want him here. He wants to be a Titan. He wanted to retire a Titan. He literally said it himself, right? And John Robinson says, okay. And says, I've dug this team in a freaking hole over the past couple of years. What's one way we can get out of it? Man, we need some money to get some cap space. Let me try to finesse the best player that's in the wide receiver room, in my opinion, that has ever put on a Titans jersey. So he says, here, AJ, 16 mil a year, take it or leave it. When the owner literally said, pay him whatever he wanted. And he says, here's 16, we want you to take it or leave it. And obviously AJ's like, no. Right? I mean, so literally the owner sat there and said, give this man the money.
He lowballed him. He
lowballed
lowballed our
him.
best player.
He lowballed him. He left. And then the next year absolutely torches us in a regular season game. And he gets fired the next day.
Dang near won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
They're potentially going to win it this year. Like they're getting. They got a roster,
here we go.
man.
okay, let's be real here.
They
Though.
got a roster.
I'm sorry, but if AJ Brown is on this team, we're still in the same position.
Oh, sure. But I just think that was the start of everything.
For sure.
The point I was making was, why didn't Mike Vrabel have more say in that? Did John Robinson just straight up?
I think he did, but I mean, ultimately it goes over his head.
I think
I
it does, and that's unfortunate.
I mean, we've seen the video, the iconic video of the draft room when that happens. I mean, he knew it. He knew it was over.
Here's the thing:
So-
if AJ Brown's gone, or if AJ Brown is still here, yes, our team's still not that great. But let me tell you something right now: the question would not be okay, or like there would be no questions about the wide receiver room at all.
Yep.
Zero. Calvin Ridley and AJ in the same room.
Well, we
Who the
might not even
heck-
have Calvin. Like
who
that's
the heck
another
do you
thing.
guard? I mean, either way, I'm just take current day team.
Yeah, I got
You
you.
got Calvin and AJ in that roster. Guess what? If they're not getting the ball and we're not scoring points, it's not on that receiving core. It is on the
Yeah.
quarterback and the offensive line only. The problem we're having right now is mediocre quarterback play, mediocre offensive line play, and mediocre wide receiver play. Newsflash, Nick Westbrook-Akine fans, he's a zone coverage warrior. If the opposing team is running zone coverage and they're not pressed up man to man on him, he looks like freaking Julio Jones in his prime. Guess what? A team comes up there and runs man coverage. He lacks the physical abilities. He lacks the speed. He lacks the footwork. He lacks the contested catch ability. You know who he looks like? Freaking Dorial Green Beckham when we drafted him. Yeah, my OG Titans fans remember him. He sucks. That's my rant of the day. We came on here at the beginning of the season and everyone was like, yeah, Nick Westbrook, y'all two right here saying Nick Westbrook was him. And he went on his he had his little 8 touchdowns from some fluky zone coverage schemes where Brian Callahan schemes him open. Well, guess what? 3 weeks in a row now, we played a team that runs only man coverage. What's he done? Has he even caught a pass? No, he's non-existent on the field.
My thing with him is he's a really, really good, solid, consistent 3 at best.
Yeah,
3.
he's good.
He's probably a 4.
If they're running zone, he's your guy. He's smart.
Talking
he knows,
about him like
he
he's
knows
our
where
best
to sit.
receiver. No, maybe statistically, like in terms of like touchdowns or whatever, but that you can't just count that. Okay, the Titans have refused to address the wide receiver problem that we've had for years, and the only solution we had to that, I'll throw Corey Davis in there for that one season he was with AJ because he did have a great season. But aside from that, it was just AJ.
This is contract year, though.
Yeah, it was
Contract year.
but it was just AJ. That's the only consistency we've had at receiver since freaking who?
Ever.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I don't want to get stuck on AJ too long, but it just goes to show like all of that. You know, anybody that says this or that about Vrabel, it doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. He's gone. So whether you think he was a good coach or not, here's the deal: people just make up their own opinion based on what your record is. There could all these fans half the time they don't know anything about football. We don't know everything that's going on, but you can't say a coach is bad just because he's losing or good just because he's winning. That's just the way that the league goes. There's how many other teams right now are look just as bad, if not worse than we do.
With a better roster.
Exactly.
Some of
5 of them
rosters.
For sure. So you can't just say, I mean, seriously, y'all. Brian Callahan has coached 14 games as a head coach. You're ready to fire him? Dan Campbell, I know.
And let's hold on. And before you even say
I
that,
don't want to
Kel,
make this Lions like I'm not comparing them exactly. I'm just saying the scenario is similar. He came in, they sucked, but they kept him on because they believed in what he was building, and look where they are now. I'm not saying we're going to be the Lions, but I'm just saying in the general hierarchy of how things go, why would we not pull from that example? You got to give him a chance.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the Dan Campbell train because him and Brian Callahan as coaches, their personality types completely different. Completely different. I think Callahan as a coach, as a schematic coach, is a very good play caller because as much as you want to say, oh, his play calling sucks, whatever, that's just because we're throwing picks. I mean, you go watch the film. Shout out Tic Tac Titans. People are open, dude.
Mm-hmm.
People are open.
Well,
like his plays are good.
It's decision making and O-line play. Like,
yes.
When those two things combine and they're not good, you're not going to have.
And I don't know. We don't know what it's like behind the scenes. He might be a very good leader and getting guys together, but to compare him to Dan Campbell with the way that he gets his players going and stands up for his players, you can't even do it. Yeah. You can't even do it. It's two completely different things. And people, you got to forget, we are still paying Mike Vrabel and John Robinson all the way through the year 2027 because they signed the extensions after our playoff run. We are still paying them both. There's no way in the world that we fire our head coach to pay 2 head coaches for the next, 4 or 5 years? There's no way. And if you fire head coach, nobody is coming here.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you want to fire your head coach because he had a bad year in his first year? Well, why would I put myself in that same position?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no benefit in it. I think people just try to find a scapegoat because we had the playoff run, we looked really good, whatever, and then now it's just it's just way downhill, and people need something to blame.
And let's be honest here. Let's be honest. I'm not saying we were a bad team because we weren't. But when we went on that playoff run, it was like the Phillies in baseball. You can get hot.
And like, bro,
it doesn't
honestly,
mean we're the best team. We got hot.
Like as Titans fans, we could sit there and we can look at that team and say like, yeah, we had a good team. But like from the outside, if you didn't watch Tennessee Titans football and you looked at those rosters, you would say, how in the world are they even here? Yeah. How in the world are they even here? Yeah, you got A.J. Brown, you had Derrick Henry, whatever, but Derrick struggled with injuries, all that kind of stuff. We had Ryan Tannehill, right? And like everybody remembers him for the way he went out. But at the time, bro was in MVP form. He was putting up better numbers than Patrick Mahomes.
33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Which is going to lead me into essentially what everybody's talking about right now. What in the world did the Tennessee Titans do at quarterback?
Well,
we're sitting at number 6 in the draft order. What are 2 quarterbacks that are going in the draft? Sanders and Ward, 1 and 2. No question about it. Whichever way they go, it don't matter. They're going 1 and 2, right?
I think it depends on who 1 and 2 are.
Right now, it's the Raiders and the Giants.
Yeah, they're 1 and 2. If not 1 and 2, they're like 1 and 3. or 1-4, or whatever teams get up there.
And then you're probably looking at what? Travis Hunter, Abdul
Carter, Kelvin
maybe
Banks.
But I mean, hey, here's what I'm saying. We're number 6, boys. Those 2 guys aren't going to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
Not going to be there.
Well, I'll give you my
Right?
answer, and you're not going to like it.
Okay.
I'll give you my answer, and you're going to hate it. Titans fans are going to hate it. People watching this are going to hate it. You're going to hate it. Everyone's going to hate it. But it's the sad reality of the situation. You have to roll another year with Will Levis. Like, and here's the bad part about it. Because here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. I think that Will Levis' struggles have not been totally him this year. Okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say the offensive line has been absolutely cheeks all year. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say our wide receiver room has been not good at all year. And I'll give him a benefit of the doubt and say that he's young, right? He showed like 3 games looking pretty good, like he was improving, and then in the last 2 games he sucked. The situation that we're in right now, if we had a top 3 pick, I think you go quarterback. I think you get Cam Ward or Shador, whichever one. At this point that we're in right now, I think that you cannot sit here. You can't trade up, right? I don't think you got the pieces to trade up, nor do I want to trade up because I think you have to give up too much because the teams that are already there are drafting quarterback no matter what. You have to stick with Levis another year, but here's the thing. Go fix some of your other positions of like major need. Like, and I mean major. Like, go fix right tackle. Go get a wide receiver that's worth a crap. And then guess what? Yeah, go get an edge rusher. And then guess what? If Will Levis comes out next year, his second year in the system, Brian Callahan's second year coaching him, if he comes out next year and is still bad, guess what you do? You go draft Archie Manning or freaking whatever great quarterback that's going to come out of college next year. Don't trade up. Don't stick and pick a quarterback because everyone outside of the top 2 are bad, or at least they're a work in progress. You stick with Levis one more year. You go fix some of the massive holes to where you can sit here and tell Levis, this is your fault if this team is not doing good. Because right now, you can't sit here as a fan or as a football person that watches football and point the finger at Will Levis and say, this season is all on you. And if you do that, shame on you because we have a bottom 2 offensive line.
It just proves you don't know ball.
Yeah, you just don't know ball. If you're blaming this all on Callahan and you're blaming this all on Levis, you just don't know football. I don't care how bad you want to win. I don't care if you got Pat Mahomes at quarterback in this offense. You ain't winning. This team on offense is so freaking bad. It don't matter who you got back there. They suck.
I want to know what your opinion is. I talked about to Austin about this. I know what he's going to say. I just want to throw it out. We're top 10 in cap space again this year. We have money to spend, right? If you want to bring in a free agent, somebody that's been lighting the league up for most of the league. Do you, if you're the Tennessee Titans, take a chance at looking at Sam Darnold?
Here's my answer and then my explanation. Yes, but no. Yes, you'd be crazy not to, but no, because there's no way the Vikings are going to let him go.
Mm-mm.
I don't care what they think about J.J. McCarthy. He's dang near playing at an MVP level, and look where they're at. I just don't see him. They're not going to let him go. Either that or he's just going to, like, we can't afford him. He's in a great system, too. Like, he's gone through all of this stuff to get to where he's at, and now he's playing this well. Why would he leave that coach? Like, I wouldn't. So, yes,
money
I think
talks.
you'd be
talk.
stupid. You'd be stupid not to go after him if you're Callahan or Rand, whatever the case. But I just don't think it's going to happen. So it's unfortunate. But to answer your question, I do think they should try.
I disagree. I don't think you try because, one, I think he wants too much money. He's having a great year.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's wanting
if
money.
You try and he needs too much, then it is what it is. But
Second,
if there's something you can do reasonably to do it, I would.
Here's my only problem. One, I think he's in a good system. I think their offense as a whole is really good. They got a good offensive line. They got Aaron Jones back there in the backfield who's been pretty decent. And then you got the best wide receiver in the league on one side. And then you got a freaking great stud over here and Jordan Addison on the other side. And then you got a top 5 tight end when healthy, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. I mean,
I'm not
no shot.
And their defense is good.
Yeah, and their defense is good. You think he's gonna leave that and come to our team with the resources being way less generous and do something? No. He's going to come over here and say, okay, well, I majorly downgraded from the best receiver in the league to maybe a top 30 receiver in Ridley. Okay, I went from TJ Hawkinson, a top 5 tight end, to maybe a top 25 tight end, and Chig and Wiley. And then, Jordan Addison, who's a freaking stud over here, who might be an all-star or an all-pro Pro Bowler here in a year, to whoever, NWI, he's going to suck. Like, that's the problem. This is the problem. Quarterback is a problem, but getting a quarterback and only a quarterback does not fix this team. We're in the same situation as the Panthers. We got too many holes around the quarterback that it does not matter who we have at quarterback, because the team's bad. Like, the team's just bad.
Hey, and shout out Bryce too. Bryce just kind of turned it around here.
Yeah,
he is.
He is. I mean, the talent, we know the talent's there. It's just they're just right where we are. I mean, they suck. They suck all the way around. You're not going to win in this league with like one or two solid players. Like, I'm sorry, but Tony Pollard is not going to carry us to wins.
He's got 30% of our freaking scrimmage yards. What more do you want? 50?
He's been a monster, and I'm that's great, but like, holy, we're just bad. We're just a bad football team, and there's no other way around it. So the question is, and this is how we move forward: what do the Titans do from here? You got to look at where we're at now. I mean, it's hard to say. Who do we play? We got division games to close it out.
Colts,
right?
Texans, Jags.
I mean, honestly, if you're a Titans fan, this sucks to say, but you're hoping we lose.
Not only that, you're hoping these teams above us can win.
Like, you're hoping that you end 3-14, and you get lucky enough to get in the top 2 picks. And right now, even losing out, we may not get it. So, it sucks, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But where do you go from here?
It just sucks to be a team that sucks this bad when there's like 6 other teams in the league that suck as bad as you do.
And one of them's in your division.
Yeah. You want to know what you do? I'll tell you exactly what you do. And Kel, you're not going to like my answer. See, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your kitchen counter. You're going to grab your keys to your car. You're going to walk to your car. You're going to start your car. Let it run for about a minute. You're going to hop in it. You're going to drive down to your local Speedway. You're going to walk in. You're going to say, I'm glad to be here. I'll take a pack of Marlboro Reds. And then you're going to walk back to your car, and you're going to smoke cigarettes while you watch the Titans play. Because truly, it's the worst experience in the world. Like, coming from a Tennessee Vols fan who has been through years of just misery, this Titans season has been one of the worst sporting watches, or whatever you want to call it, I've ever seen. Like, watching these games are painful. I was sitting down here the other day, and I was like, turn it off. Just turn it off. Like, I can't watch it. Like,
I haven't really turned off a game in a while.
Even in the first dark ages that we had, well, not first, but like when we were younger, back before we drafted Mariota, like that was about as sucked as you can get, and we're close to that right now. And we drafted Mariota, and we still sucked, but it was at least fun watching Mariota play, because like, it was like, oh, our entire team sucks, but this kid's kind of fun to watch. And then it slowly kind of turned things around. We're in that same place right now, and Will Levis is not fun to watch at all. So it stinks. Like, it's bad that we're just hoping Tony Pollard breaks one.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of what we're sitting there waiting on. Like, maybe Calvin's going to get a deep ball, or Tony Pollard's going to rip one, but that's about it. So,
and, I see Roller's got the Tennessee hoodie on, and I'm seeing a lot of see who's above us.
Go ahead and do it. I think the segue we need to take is,
I'll give you a segue. I'll give you something real quick.
Oh, God.
You wanna talk about filling seats up? I'll tell you how to fill seats up. This is how you do it right here. You either win games or you do one thing. You get the hometown hero. And let me tell you something right now. If you want to fill seats up in this stadium, here's what you do. You keep Levis for one more year. He either turns out or he sucks. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what you can do the year after that.
Draft
the year after that, you either draft one or two people if the quarterback is still a problem. You either draft Archie Manning, and the freaking club goes wild. Everybody in the world comes to see Archie Manning play. Or guess what you do after that? You go draft the Polynesian prince, Nico Iamaleava, and you let him be your future quarterback. You do one of the two things. I don't care which one it is.
Hey,
but if you want to fill the seats, that's how you fill the seats.
Let's wait for this weekend first.
They might be wearing orange, but they'll be in the stadium.
I'm not completely mad at that take, because I think he does have a lot of potential. However, let's let him get past the playoffs here, and then see what he does next season.
All right. I have the order.
Go ahead.
Shout out to which I love that this is a thing. Tankathon.com.
Oh, baby. That's
Love
where we
that.
are right
we
now.
are. We're way
Battle
up there.
of the toilet.
Jeez.
We are
We
sitting at number 6 at 3-11. The number 3, we know who 1 and 2 are, right? Giants as of now, and then the Raiders. Right. So there's your 1-2 quarterbacks for sure. Who's sitting at number 3? Same person that was sitting at number 3 last year, the Patriots. They don't need a quarterback. They got theirs. Right. So we need them to win a game because that's a potential, Travis Hunter pick right there. This is somebody that we need to win a game specifically against us, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mhm.
If there's one thing I don't want to see, it's Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars. It's one thing I don't want to see. Whether he plays defense or offense,
Travis
I don't
Hunter
care.
wants to see that either.
I don't think he does either.
We don't want to see that either.
And number 5.
Travis Hunter might play corner for the other team so that Trevor might throw him a pass.
Number 5 is the Panthers. And
They're
that's
not
an
going
interesting
quarterback.
one.
They're not going quarterback to me.
No,
I don't think they are either.
Bryce Young was
And
good.
then we're right behind them at 6. We also need the Browns and Jameis Winston. Please, for the love of God, pull a game out because they have the same
Not
record we
looking
do.
like
Stop
either.
throwing like the Lord really needs to deliver you from
He
pick
does,
sixes
he
because we have got to have y'all win a game.
Well, the bad news for us is it feels like the Panthers more than likely go offensive line, like offensive tackle here. Like I think,
So we might
most of the
lose out
Panthers-
on Banks, or
Banks.
Campbell. Yeah,
yeah, I think Banks is
Because
the
I
first
mean,
one out.
let's look at our schedule.
but they're saying
right?
Banks is not going to play tackle because
That's Campbell. Campbell is the
Oh, it
one
is?
that's going to play potentially guard because
Before we even get to that, let's look at our schedule. Right, we're losing to the Texans, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, CJ's not letting them lose.
they're going to
again.
smack the crap out of us. I hope.
And we're wearing the Oilers uniforms too.
Oh Jesus.
So I think we lose that game for
Dude,
sure.
if we win that
Disrespect
game,
them
if
things.
we win that game, I'm going to lose it. I really am.
Steve McNair is going to come crawling out of his grave and kill Will Levis. Like,
Oh, my goodness.
Disrespecting those jerseys like that against Houston. Golly.
Brother, I hate to break it to you. I don't think Will Levis steps on the field again this year.
Oh, no,
that's
he will.
fair.
No,
That's
he
fair.
will. He will.
Well, let me read
If
you
you
this.
want us to lose, then he should.
Let me
Exactly,
read you.
on the field.
Let me read you this, and I want to see what your opinion is of it. They had a press conference today. This comes from our boy TD. Shout out TD. This is that Brian Callahan said that if they do move away from Will Levis, that the possible benefit would be that the guys feel like they are put in the best position to win games and everyone could be held accountable.
That's
In other words,
crazy.
Levis
That's crazy.
sucks.
In other words, we actually might win a game if he's not in the game.
That's bad. That's bad. For the head coach to come out and say that, look, here's my biggest problem with Callahan. I'll tell you right now. I think Callahan is a great schematic coach. One thing I don't think Callahan has is balls. And the reason I say that is this. I think Callahan showed like a fantastic thing in that Vikings game where he runs out on the field. He's angry. He's got his players back, whatever. What I heard coming out of this weekend is Levis played bad. Levis gets benched. But how does the head coach, the schematic guy, the guy that's running the offense, not the one walking over to over there on the sideline that he's already standing on, and say, well, Levis, you're sucking today, buddy. You're on the bench for the rest of the game. We're putting in Mason Rudolph. Instead, we send some random dude over there, another
Quarterback coach.
the quarterback coach over there, to tell him he's benched. No, Callahan, you're the head coach. Take some accountability. Walk over there. Tell your starting quarterback he sucks, and tell him he's on the bench. Like, tell it like hello. Like, do you think Dan Campbell would walk over there and have somebody else go tell Jared Goff that he's benched? No. Do you think
No,
that
because Jared Goff is a baller right now. Austin, how you feel about that?
that's despite the point, they still lost. But either way, despite the
to the
point,
freaking best team in the league right now.
despite the point, either way, despite the point, 99% of coaches, head coaches, my bad, 99% of head coaches in the league right now walk over to their starting quarterback if they're getting benched and say, you're benched. You're on the sideline and you're not playing the rest of this game. Callahan takes the easy way out and sends the quarterback coach over there? Come on.
I don't really care how he benches him.
Yeah, I mean, I
If
do.
I'm being honest,
I do
like-
because that shows that Callahan is just he's using Levis as a scapegoat for the whole season. He's sitting there saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna put Mason Rudolph in there to give our team the best chance to win." Okay, Mason Rudolph's outside that Miami Dolphins game sucked, and didn't even look that great
Yeah.
in that game. Like, we're still going to lose. We're still a bad team.
And
Don't
if that's
blame it
his
on the quarterback.
standpoint, if that's his standpoint for it, because Will Levis has talked about it, he's still playing through that AC joint sprain and aggravated it a week ago on that halftime when he got hit. So if that's the case, why are we throwing out an injured lamb out there that can't even play?
Because he's taking the bullet. Because here's the thing, Callahan, Titans fans are delusional. They think we should fire Callahan and go get somebody else. Well, in order to get some fire off of Callahan's back and some fire off of Rand's back for some reason, because Titans fans think that we can just go out there and get better. Who wants to come coach this team right now? Nobody. You let these guys play it, like, pan out for a few years, and then you make some decisions. How do you put the fire out? You put the fire on someone else. And we're throwing Will Levis out there to suck in this terrible offense, and he's taking all the heat. So, like, shout out to Levis. He's not playing that great right now, but still, like, I mean, he's got the crosshairs all over him.
And one thing I'll give him props for, one thing I'll give him props for, and I'll give Jeff props for, and T-Sweat too. They are the only three, and Jarvis Brownlee, never mind. I mean, Jarvis Brownlee, this dude, I came into this season saying that I wanted our defense to play with a lot of emotion, and that dude embodies that.
He's my favorite player to watch on our team.
Oh, and he's my next jersey buy for sure. I think those four guys, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Sweat, Simmons, and Levis, have been the consistent four that are showing that they actually still care. Like, as bad as Will Levis plays, it's not like Will Levis is out here like Mac Jones, for instance.
Pollard in there too, because Pollard doesn't get to say a lot, but he plays like we're the best team in the league. He just plays hard every play. So,
and like you can look at it. Watch the Jaguars games. Watch Mac Jones. They're on the sidelines just cracking jokes. You know, they're 3-11. They're smiling. They said, "Man, we got Cancun booked already."
He did the Rizzler celebration after like a 10-yard run.
Because they're just a joke. They're a joke. That's why. Look, the one thing I'll give this team is they got fight in them, right? They got fight in them, right? We might not be
Jags
good.
are a joke.
We might not be that good of a team, but I will give Callahan and I will give this team credit that they come out there and they genuinely do try. They play and they try. They talk crap. They freaking hit people. They come out there and they try. They just don't have the talent around all the way around the team.
And this, but honestly, that's a testament to your head coach.
Yeah,
true.
It is.
And I think there is a handful of games where I think we actually came out and we got beat. But for the most part, when you look back on our season, we lost these games ourselves.
Yeah.
We lost these games ourselves, whether it be picks and what we haven't talked about yet, is we are top 5. Honestly, probably top 3 now, but we were top 5 in every single category for penalties as an offensive line.
Yeah,
every single one. So there's not much you could do as an offensive play caller when you're starting behind the sticks, 15 yards almost at times. And JC's has been horrible with false starts. Yep. Horrible. But like we said, rookie tackle has been going up against some dogs.
Yeah,
he's been blocking.
He's trying to pull a Jawan Taylor, and he's not getting away with it.
Yeah.
That boy still false starts.
Jawan Taylor gets away with it every play.
So, I don't think there's too much more to really discuss, but I just think if you're a Titans fan right now, I'm never going to be that person that tells you to root for the team to lose. But we're definitely going to be okay with it.
I just hate watching us lose, dude. Like, it's the fact where I want us to win, but knowing about like what wins do for us is just like there's no point. But you also just don't want to see. I mean, honestly, if that's my standpoint, like if I'm being an average Titans fan, if I'm an average Titans fan right now, and like we can lose and get a higher draft pick, don't even turn the games on. Like, why waste your energy getting so mad about the games if you just know that A, they're going to lose, and B, that you want them to lose? There's no point in watching.
If you just love football and that's why you watch, just wait till the other games come on. Watch the other games. Watch the college football playoffs.
Go watch the Lions or the Bills or some decent team.
No kidding. Honestly, the Bills have played in the 2 best games that I've seen all year and back to back. The Rams game and then the Lions game. I'm like, bro, it wasn't even that those teams have bad defenses. Their offensive coaches are so good that they're just slicing and dicing defenses like every which way they possibly can, bro. It's like they're playing freaking Fruit Ninja on their iPhone. It is ridiculous how much points there. Josh Allen, I saw a stat today. He's got 14 touchdowns, like 1,000-something yards, and some other QB rating in the last 3 games. Levis hadn't even done it in a freaking season.
You want to know what it is?
14 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
You want to know what it is? Last year, they gave Lamar Jackson a fluke MVP when Josh Allen deserved it. And he said, you know what? Okay, hold my beer. I'm going to torch the whole league this year, so there is no way in the world you can even think about giving Lamar Jackson MVP.
And let me
this
be
year.
I mean,
honest,
Lamar's
too,
giving him a run for his money.
Is he?
Lamar
Because he ain't even
is-
close. Like, Lamar's playing good, but Josh Allen is killing everybody.
He's going crazy.
I mean, here's murdering.
Here's the thing. I think there is a unanimous MVP right now that nobody's talking about, and it's because they are not that good. And he played against us this past weekend. Joe Burrow has 33 touchdowns and 6 picks, and they have a losing record.
Because their defense sucked.
He is balling.
Can we just say something real quick? I had this down in my notes as something that I was supposed to talk about. How does Levis come out here? Who do we play before Jacksonville? Who do we play? Let me look it up. Look, either way, all I'm saying is we played Jacksonville and Levis had his worst. Well, what I thought at the time was going to be his worst game of the year against Jacksonville, and then comes out against the Bengals and throws 3 picks and actually has his worst game of the year. But what do those two teams have in common?
He was paying homage to
What do the Jags? What do the Jags and the Bengals have in common? They both are a bottom freaking 3 defense. They're both
somebody gave Levis that tape from the playoff game against the Bengals a few years ago. He said,
Said replicate it.
Tannehill darts, baby.
Like, how does Levis come out here against good defenses and make plays and look good, and then we come out here against 2 of the bottom 3 defense in the league? The Jacksonville Jaguars have the worst defense in the whole league, and we scored 6 points.
We scored 6 points.
And then the Bengals have like the second or third worst, and their defense is the only reason that they have a losing record. And he plays the worst game of his freaking career. Like, how does that happen? How do you come out here and you play pretty dang good, right? And you look like a bright spot again against like some good teams that we're playing. And then we come out here and play the 2 worst teams defensively on the schedule, and we suck. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, logically,
it doesn't.
Makes no sense at all. Like, I guarantee if we went out and played the Chiefs next weekend, Levis comes back out there and looks like freaking the next coming of Josh Allen. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how he stoops down to the talent we're playing. We're playing a good team. He elevates up and nicely looks good. We play the worst teams in the league defensively, and he stoops down to being terrible. It makes no sense.
I mean, hey, I'll say this, dude. I knew we were cooked, and I knew he wasn't going to have a good day. When I looked on Instagram, and I go to my followers' stories, and I'm clicking through, and I see Gia Duddy in a box suite at the Titans game in Titans gear. Will Levis is ex, everyone, if you didn't know. And I said, wow, brother, he's cooked. Picked up the Bengals defense immediately on my fantasy team, and wow, they had a day. They had a day.
They have a day.
Oh, it's just a bad time to be a Titans fan right now.
It's a bad time to be a Tennessee fan of anything except Tennessee Vols.
But hey,
like college related.
when you've hit rock bottom,
suck. Titans
when
suck.
you've hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. Is up.
That's true.
Got to keep a positive mindset, people. As hard as it is to sit here and watch this team, for the most part, there's a lot of negative, but there's also a lot of positive. And you know what? I don't even know why I'm spewing that because I'm negative all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
they're really, here's the thing. There's not anything to be positive about except for a couple of pieces that we have. What you do is you go and figure out how to get a lot more pieces like those few guys that you have, and you just keep building. You can't, I mean, it's not like you can give up, and Callahan's not going to give up. Rand's not going to give up, but you got to weed out the people that are in this organization that don't want to be here and figure out what it's going to take to just turn things around. We don't have to be Super Bowl winners next year, but you have to take steps forward, positive steps over time, and hopefully giving Callahan and Rand a chance is going to be
I'll tell you this. I won't be a Tennessee
you know
Titans fan next year if Colt Anderson is still on the team.
Phew, golly. Yep. It's just been bad all around, and things need to be changed. And the offensive side of the ball needs a roster overhaul, starting with tackle and receiver first if you can't get a quarterback. Because we're probably not going to get a top 2 pick. And if you can't do that, you got to fix something else that's going to help you out. immediately.
And bro, in years like this, kill free agency too.
Yep.
That's one thing we didn't talk about. But years like this kill free agency, bro. What receiver wants to come here if we want to get one that's going to be a free agent?
What
Nobody
receiver wants to come here for if we don't fix the O line, a quarterback that doesn't have time, or if we do fix the O line with a quarterback that's just bad? You don't want free agents don't want to come here. We're lucky we got Snead, and that was probably big in large part due to Denard Wilson and us having some good defensive pieces when we're healthy.
No, brother, we're lucky we got
Still the case,
Ridley.
but yeah, that's true. And I mean, we do have Ridley for another 2 or 3 years after this.
3 years,
Three.
At least contract wise. So I'm not mad at Ridley. I just think that his motivation is down, and I can't blame him because he's looked really good at times. But it's just the place that we're in. So I don't know what our podcast schedule is going to look like. Obviously, we're going to try not to take another complete hiatus here, and there's a lot of negative going on. But with the college football playoffs coming up, I know Austin and I and Drew will be watching some too. So we'll have some of that to talk about. Maybe some potential names to be looking for in the draft. It's unfortunate that we have to talk about that, but that's just where we are as Titans fans. And honestly, that's what's keeping me going. I'm looking forward to obviously Notre Dame playing in the playoffs and seeing the Tennessee Ohio State game. But we need to be watching players in these games because it's going to be the future of our the only way you're going to turn this thing around and really build a solid I keep wanting to say program like college, but a solid organization is by drafting well. We have to continue to draft well. So It is what it is. That's where we're at.
College football is great. Enjoy college football. Enjoy the other games going on in the NFL. As a Titans fan, if you want to watch the games, put yourself through it, whatever. Basketball season's here. College basketball's here. College baseball starts soon. You got other things that you can watch to take the pain away. Just don't watch Titans games, and you're okay. That's all I got to say. Just don't watch them.
Draft season's around the corner.
Yep, it is. That's where
draft season's around the corner.
And look, it is always tighten up, but sometimes
you got to tighten down.
Hard. It's hard. So that's where we're at.